Welcome back to Everything Whiskey. I'm Callum.
And I'm Sam.
And today we're having a look at the Macallan 12 Double Cask.
Alrighty, Macallan Double Cask, I would show you the bottle more.
Yeah,
I would
camera.
just show it better, but like for some reason in the past few episodes my camera's just been doing absolute madness and just needs to be thrown in the bin, to be honest. Anyway, Macallan 12 Double Cask, this is like kind of, well, it's just another rendition on their 12. We've got the Fine Oak behind me somewhere as well. We've got a few of them. We've had them for a while and we thought we might as well, as previously with the Japanese whiskies, we might as well finally do them. Yeah, so the Double Cask is 12 years old from Macallan, obviously. They're dated back to like 1824, super old distillery. And this is all, it's 100% malted barley. Now, it's meant to be 43% from what I've seen online.
Yep.
But I'm not, I'll see if I can show it.
No.
It kind of at the end. It's a solid 40 is all.
Yeah, 40.
3% doesn't seem like much, but as usual, we're just getting absolutely gypped.
Yeah.
So basically the 12-year-old one, this one is a combination of it's European oak and American oak, but it's not sherry barrel and ex-bourbon barrel. It is all sherry treated oak. So it's sherry treated. It's ex-sherry treated European oak and American oak. So it's all sherry, which you can definitely taste.
Yep.
And we'll get onto that. The nose and the palate are all just like sherry bomb.
Macallan's known for having a better nose than palate as well.
Yeah, the Whiskey Vault said that once, and I was like, it's exactly like what I've been trying to like nail down, but I couldn't figure out what the hell it was. I was always like, I always liked it, but I was always disappointed, and I couldn't quite figure out why. But I think that might be it. That like, it's got a good palate, but the
nose is just so much better.
Always, it's just always so like intriguing and like delicate, but like layered. I don't know, like it just always is really nice smelling, but the taste is never bad, just always a little bit more just kind of flat compared to the nose. Malt funk is just heavy on this.
Sherry impact though is really nice.
Full on sherry funk, malt funk, but like that deep kind of like wet bran cereal, that just wet barley kind of like smell
with honey drizzled on the cereal. A
lot of sweetness, but it's just that cereal funk. Is super heavy on this, and as if you've been watching us for a little bit, we're not like against it. We're just not in that kind of zone at the moment. Where,
and we get it on a lot of Highlands and Spaysides.
Spaysides and Highlands are just like rampant with it, and some more than others. But this is like up there with that kind of amount of. But
I reckon it's nicely balanced with the sherry impact as well, like the sweetness from the fruits and like honey and vanilla. It's well balanced. It's not just
a lot
funky.
Of sherry. There's a lot of sherry funk sweetness to go along with the malt cereal funk. It's like it's just like a lot of the time we've said it's like with Highlands and stuff. We're like, it's like a bowl of bran cereal with honey drizzled on and a bunch of raisins and maybe some desiccated fruits, and that's it. This is that, except it's like been in the milk longer. It's like it's been sitting there for a few hours. It just seems like thicker and richer and more funky. It just seems, I don't know, it just smells more wet. I don't know how to describe it. Just more pungent, I think is the right word. It smells like a more pungent version.
Yeah, its nose is very like loud and expressive, isn't it? It's not like hidden at all. It's very out there, in your face kind of.
Super sweet, super malty.
Yeah, a lot of interesting
of like ashy
sweet
pepperiness.
Yeah.
But like, and also I'm getting like a bunch of that apricot, the dried apricot, the like desiccated one.
Yeah.
A lot of those kind of fruits, but like a ton of just like
ice cream banana chips
that have been sitting in banana chips,
like the crispy dry bananas.
I'm just getting like I'm just getting an absolute ton of like plums that have been sitting in the sun for like 24 hours, and raisins and stuff, like sultanas that are just everything is just this deep, overly sweet sugariness. But just like it's from fruit. It's not just like sugar. It's actually from something.
Yeah,
it's like a reduction.
Those raisins and sultanas come through a lot more on the palate.
They shine. Just like I think the kind of I was getting a bit of a gingeriness on the nose, and that's kind of tamped down on this, and it's more banana and raisins and malt and honey.
That's sherry as well at the back.
That sherry fruit, dark fruit note is just like that sings through the whole thing. It's there on the nose, it's there on the palate.
I'm getting a bit of the barrel impact as well.
It's kind of overwhelmingly sweet. Like I like this, but for someone who is not into that kind of deep, pungent, kind of almost rotten fruit sweetness, it might be a bit too sickly and put them off. I would not be surprised if that happened to quite a few people.
It's kind of being doubled down by the malt on the palate as well. Like that malty definitely. Funk is just pushing it a bit too far that way for me.
Me too. It's definitely not like where I'm at right now, but I can still appreciate it, and I know for a fact that like there was a time where this was like right up my alley. For
we loved it.
I enjoyed it. There was a time where this kind of like epitomized exactly what we looked for in a whiskey for a while. But even though we've moved on from that now and we're more into bourbons and peat and stuff, I can still appreciate this for what it is.
I like coming back to these whiskeys, but
me too, yeah. Just to see like a change in like how it tasted then versus now. I still think that something a lot of people are probably gonna like hate on this opinion because Macallan is so popular, but I think that if I'm gonna choose like a super sherry kind of Scotch, it's gonna be the Glendronach 12 for me. That tastes more like a well-rounded dessert. It's got a little bit less malty funk and more sweetness and a bit of, I don't know, it's just, for me, that's where my kind of like, if you're going to go for a Speyside Highland kind of like sherried Scotch, that's what I'm going to reach for.
Yeah.
But this is not something I'd ever turn down.
Yeah, I think you might be stepping on some Highland lovers' toes because Macallan's like their main.
It's huge. Popular. The problem is though, I feel like, I mean, again, I might be pissing people off, but I feel like it's just not just to do with, but it's in part to do with like the way they've marketed. Like they've been genius with their marketing. They're like Macallan in a movie or TV show. Macallan is the expensive Scotch that's going to be in shot. They've done an incredible job with their marketing.
Well, I mean, it's not exactly cheap. It's $115.
This is $115, $120 here. So, and it's just this is like
that's their baseline,
rung, but it's pretty much
one of their baseline.
It's one of their standard releases. So I get it. I don't kind of get caught up in the name as much, just because like we've just been around so many goddamn.
We will when we have enough money to buy Macallan M.
But maybe when we can buy some of their more expensive stuff, we'll be kind of caught up in it. But I don't know. Either way, this is a damn good whiskey. It's just not like I don't know about 120. I think.
How much is Glendronach 12? 100?
90 to 100.
Yeah.
So
I mean, affordability and taste. My preference is Glendronach. The only thing that I find not bad, but I just don't like, is that the palate falls off from the nose, and then the palate just doubles down on that malty funk and the sweetness.
On the Macallan.
Yeah, on the Macallan.
Yeah.
Glendronach.
Yeah, I agree.
Glendronach's just sherry, essentially.
Yeah, it's just sweet. Like, it's like drinking a sticky date pudding. For me. That's basically what it is. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's all subjective. I've had this experience many times with this Macallan though, so it's kind of where I'm assuming I'm staying at for a while. I like it. It's a little expensive, but for the name that they've built for themselves, fair enough, fair play to them. I don't have a problem with it.
Yep.
There are other whiskies within that price range or a little bit below that I think well and truly compete with it. So it's going to be, not hit or miss, but it's going to be your choice. It's going to change all the time.
Yeah.
And I would recommend trying other things just to expand, like to figure out, because you might be saving yourself some money.
I'm looking at some of the whiskeys on the shelf.
Yeah.
That are like around that price that might be better value for money. I mean, like Highland Parks, they're a bit ashy, a bit peaty, but they're nice.
Yeah, a bit more on the savoury side and stuff, and less sherry.
The Glenmorangie, Quinta Rubin, that was really nice. That was a sherry, really nice.
So sweet, yeah, they're extremely sherry.
The Glenfiddich 15.
Go for.
Glenfiddich 12.
Again, I think that's not as sherry though. Glenfiddich 12 is definitely not as sherry as this.
Yeah.
But either way, I don't have a problem with spending the amount that this is. I think it's worth it. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about this one. I reckon we'll go to the Fine Oak next.
Yeah.
and we're going to get our hands on some more Macallan in the future. It would be nice to kind of like get a big ass lineup of like $100 to $800 kind of like Macallans and have like a bunch of them and just kind of blind taste it to see what we prefer.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what you think of this one in particular, whether you think that the Macallan name is singing its song to make the price or whether it actually like earns it. Either way, if you like this episode, leave us a like. If you want to see future episodes from us, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. If you do, see you in the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.